Hello everyone, welcome to the Mercury Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I am going to start with your next module, that is a next term, next module, that is a new topic, new module, new everything, that is a procedural programming. So this is the new module that I am going to start in the today's class, and this is one of the important topic, that is the procedural programming. What do you mean by procedural programming? First of all, I clear one thing. There are different modules in this semester. One of the module is your procedural programming. One what we have covered is computer system. One is e-commerce, that is e-commerce related concepts. So these are the various modules that is available in this semester. Now we have finished with one module, that is a computer system. Perfectly and efficiently we have finished that module by covering each and every chapter, each and every topic. Now I'm going to start with your next module, that is a procedural programming, right? So first of all, let's start with the module, and believe me, this is very interesting module. Why? Because there is a need for the C language in every term. If you are going for a developer, if you are able to learn any programming, right? So C language is the mother of every language. Why? C is the basic. In this basic structures, basic ideas are defined. Then you can use other programming paradigm also. So what is a procedure programming? It is a programming paradigm derived from the structured programming based upon the concept of procedure call. That is it is based on the concept of the procedure call, and it is derived from the structured programming. What do you mean by structured programming? In which we can divide the main program into different structures. Procedures are also known as routines, subroutines, methods, or function, not to be confused with the mathematical function, but similar to those used in the functional programming. Simply contain a series of computational steps to be carried out. Any given procedure might be called at any point during a program execution, including by other procedure or itself. It means the main program is divided into different parts, into different modules, into different tasks or procedures. Any given procedure might be called at any point during a program execution, including other procedure or itself. Procedure programming is a list or set of instructions telling a computer what to do step by step and how to perform from the first code to the second code. This means this is the step-by-step procedure, how one code will be executed and how that code will be linked to the another code, that is the next code, that is the second code. Procedure programming languages include C, Go, Fortran, Pascal, Basic. These are the old programming languages, but now the language which is in demand is your C programming language. And today I'm going to start with your C language only. So you have understood the concept that what is a procedure programming, in which the main program is divided into multiple procedures, multiple parts, multiple blocks, multiple modules, or multiple structure, that is known as the procedure programming. An example of the procedure programming includes C, Fortran, Basic, and the main topic what you have covered in this topic, in this chapter, in this module is the C language. So let's start with the C language. This is the PDF file that covers all the chapters of C language. And this is the content. I've got through the content also. First of all, getting the started, that is the started with the C language. What is a C? Getting started with C. The C character set, constant, variable, keywords, rules, types of C constraint. That is how to start with the C program. Then the first C program, that is a basic, C instructions. Then second chapter is your the decision control structure. That is how decision can be taken in any programming language. That is how if statement is used, if else is used, for is used, switch case is used. So these are the various decision control structures that is available in C language. Then third chapter is your Loop control structure, that is what are the types of loop available, that is how we can or how a program will iterate with itself, that is a loop control structure. In this various loops are listed like while loop, for loop, break statement, continue, do while loop. Then next chapter is the case control structure, that is how we can control the or how we can use the case control, that is if there are multiple or there are large number of options, then how we can use the case control structure using the switch case or the if else ladder. Then next topic is your functions and the pointer, that what is a function and what is the pointer. Then data types revisited, that is data types are revisited, that is what are the data types, what are the types of the data and how they are useful. Then the C preprocessor, that is how C processor is used, that is how macro is used, what is a file inclusion, what is a conditional compilation. These are the multiple concepts that is used in the C preprocessor. Then arrays, that what is the array, how we can use the array and what is the benefit of using the arrays. Then putting on the strings, that what is the string, how strings are used and what is the advantage why we are using the string, that is also a main part of this chapter or this topic. Then next is your structures, then what is a structure, how we can use the structure, so these are the various concepts. Then console input output, what do you mean by input output, how we can give the command for the input, how we can give the command for the output. Then next is your file input output, that is how we can use the input and output for the file, that is how we can store the data of the input and output into the file. In this there are multiple options, that is how to open a file, how to read from a file, how to trouble in opening a file, close the file. Then more issues in the input output, that is how input output should be used, that is how ARGC, ARGV will be used. Then next chapter is your operations on the bits. In this chapter we will study that how bitwise operators or how different operators are used in the programming language in the C language, that is multiple operators include right shift, left shift. These are the multiple options that is available for the operators. Then next is your miscellaneous features, that is what are the function that is left, that is known as the miscellaneous features. Then C under the Windows, that is how C will be used using the Windows. Then Windows programming, that is how window programming will be used, how to create and display the window. Then graphics under window, how to use the graphics under the Windows part. Then interaction with the hardware, that is how to interact with the hardware, how C language will be used to interact with the hardware. Then next chapter is C under Linux, that is how C will be used with the help of the Linux, that is how Linux operating system will be used in the C language. Then more Linux programming, that is the last chapter, that is just the overview of the Linux, that is how Linux programming can be done. So these are the 21 chapters that is covered in this module, right? So now let's start with the first chapter. There are so many excitement in the mind of the student whenever the new module will be started. So I think all the excitement is there in your mind. So believe me, this is very interesting topic. So now let's start with the first chapter. If you have any queries about this module, please free to ask right now. Because once the module is started, then it is very difficult to change the module, to change the teacher, to change the module, to change the content. So it's better to tell me at the initial stage only. This is getting started, that is the first chapter. In this there are multiple topics. What is C, getting started. Now let's start. This says, before we begin to write serious programs in C, it will be interesting to find out what really is C. That is, it is really interesting to find out what is a C and how C will be used. Four important aspects of any language are the way it stores data, the way it operates upon the data, how it it accomplishes the input and output, and how it lets you control the sequence of execution of instruction. So these are the multiple ways, or these are the four important aspects of any programming language, of any language. That is how it can store, how it will operate, and how it will accomplish the input output, and how it will let you control the sequence of execution of instruction in a program. We will discuss the first three of these building blocks in this chapter. That is how it will store the data, the way it operates upon the data, how it accomplishes the input and output. Now, what is a C? This is the better question, this is the best question, this is the pet question which everyone is asking. What is a C? C is a programming language developed at AT&T Bell Laboratory. So this is the name of the laboratory. That what is the name of the laboratory? It's AT&T Bell Laboratory of USA in 1972. So it's a programming language that is developed. First of all, what is a programming language? The language which the programmer is using, that is known as the programming language. That is developed that is developed at the AT&T Bell Laboratory of USA in 1972. So in which year it will be developed? That is it has developed, that is in 1972. It was designed and written by a man named Dennis Ritchie. So Dennis Ritchie is a person who has wrote the C language book, who has designed and wrote the C language book. That is a Dennis Ritchie. So in simple terms, if a question arises, what is a C language? So the answer is C is a programming language developed by Dennis Ritchie in 1972. In the late 70s, C began to replace the most familiar languages like PL, I, Prolog, Log, etc. No one push C. So this is the base of every programming language. It was not made the official Bell Labs language. Thus, without any advertisement, C reputation spread and its pool of users grew. Ritchie seems to have been rather surprised that so many programmers preferred C to older languages like Fortran, PL, or the newer one like Pascal, APL. But what happened? What is the main advantage? Why everyone is using the C even though there are many languages that is available? Moreover, in an industry where newer languages tools are emerged in day in day out, the language that has survived for more than 3 decades is really good. An opinion that is often heard today is C has been already superseded by the languages. That is, the next version of the C language is also available, that is known as the C++ or the C# and the Java. This is also the advanced version of the C, but C is the basic, that is the base of every programming language. If you do not have a knowledge of the C, then it is very difficult to cope up with the new programming languages, that is C++, C#, Java. So why bother to learn C today? It's seriously back to different with this opinion. There are several reasons for this. There are many reasons why everyone wants to know the C language. I believe that no one can learn C++ or Java directly. As I told you, that it is very difficult to cope up with the C++ or Java directly if you do not have a knowledge of the C language. This is because while learning these languages, you have things like classes, object, inheritance that deals with the another programming languages also. Next, why or what are the advantages, or what is the reason why we are using the, or every programmer is using the C language? This says C++, C# or Java makes use of a principle that is known as the OOPS. That is C++, C or C#, Java that use the principle that uses the concept of the OOP, that is the object programming languages, to organize the program. This organizing principle has lots of advantages to offer. But even while using this organizing principle, you will still needs a good hold over the language elements of C and the basic programming skills. That is, when you are trying to get the OOPS concept, that it's better to learn the C language first of all. Why? Because this language is the base for every language. Though many C++ and Java based programming tools and framework have evolved over the years, the importance of C is still unchallenged, because unknowingly or knowingly, while using these fundamental, we will require to code the elements. Another reason why I should learn the C before the C++, because there are so many fundamental concepts that is available in the C language that is required, or that is very helpful while we learn the another languages like C++, C Sharp, OOPS concept. Major parts of popular operating system like Windows, Linux is still written in the C. This is one of the main advantage. That what is the main advantage? Most of the most of the operating system is already written in the C, or still written in the C. That is like Windows, Unix, Linux is still written in C language, not in C++, not in Java. They are using the procedure programming language, that is a C. This is because even today when it comes to performance, nothing beats C. That is, if I talk about in terms of the performance, that no one language is better than the C language. Next, mobile devices like cell phones, palm top are also becoming increasing popular. Also, common consumer devices like microwave oven, washing machine, digital computer are getting smarter and smarter day by day. This smartness comes from a microprocessor, operating system and a program. These programs do not run fast but also work in limited amount of memory. No wonder that such programs are written in the C language. That behind that machine, behind that microwave oven, washing machine, there is a device, there is a program that is written, and that program is also written in the C language. You can see several professionals use a 3D computer game that is also written in the C language. At times, next point says, at times one is required to very closely interact with the hardware devices. Since C provides several language elements that makes this interaction feasible without compromising the performance. That is, without compromising the performance, you are not able to require, or you are not able to interact with the hardware devices very closely. I hope that these are the very convincing reasons why one should adopt the C as at the final, or as the first and the very important step in your quest for learning programming languages. This is also my target to give you the knowledge that C is very basic programming language. This is the first step for learning any programming languages. This is these are the various advantages of C, that why we are using the C language. Now, getting started with the C language, or how to get the start, or how to start with the C language. This says communicating with the computer involves speaking the language the computer understands, which immediately rules out English as the language of communication with computer. So this line says whenever we communicate with the computer, that involves speaking the language that the computer understands, that is in either zeros and ones, which immediately rules out English as the language of communication with computer. However, there is a close analogy between learning English and learning C language. The classical method of learning English is to first learn the alphabets, then combine these alphabets to form the words that convert into sentences into paragraphs. Like C is also similar and easier. Instead of writing the main program, we are using the alphabets, numbers, special symbols that are used in C language. How they are or how using them with constants, variables, keywords, and finally combine to form the instructions. Then a group of instructions is converted or combined into a program. So first of all, there are multiple singles, character, alphabet that is used in the C language, that is combined into instructions, and then instructions are combined to form a main program. This is the example. This is used for English language, alphabet, words, sentences, paragraph. This is the steps in the learning C. That is, first of all, alphabets, digital digits, special symbols are used, constant, variable, keywords are used, that is converted into that is converted into instructions. Then instructions combination, that is whenever we combine multiple instructions, that will give the main program. Now C character set, that is what are the characters that is used in the C. A character denote any digit, alphabet or special symbol to represent the information. Figure 1.2 shows the valid alphabets, numbers and special symbols allowed in the C. So these are the various alphabets, that is A, B till Z, that is all the alphabets, upper as well as the smaller or the small letters, that is small a, small b, small y, small z, that is including every alphabet, total 26 alphabets. Then digits, either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the digits that is available from 0 to the 9. Then these are the various special symbols that is used in the C language. This is a tilde, exclamation mark, at the rate, hash, percentage, caret, ampersand, asterisk, parenthesis. Then next is, what are the constants? These are the various terms. First of all, we have studied what is a character. Then what is a constant? Variables and keywords. That what is a constant, variables and the keywords. The alphabets, numbers and the special symbols, when properly combined from constant, that is when properly combined forms the constant, variable and the keyword. That is a character that we have studied, digits that we have studied, special symbol that we have studied. That when combines together, when properly combined, that makes or that forms a constant, variables and the keyword. Let us see what are constants, variable in C. A constant is an entity that does not change, whereas variable is an entity that may change. So constant is any entity that cannot be or that does not change. That is constant, that is a permanent, that does not change with the program, that does not change with the program to program. But the variable is entity that change or that may change. So what is the difference? Constant value cannot be changed, while the variable value may be changed. In any program, we are typically do lots of calculations. The result is normally stored in the computer memory. Like human memory, the computer memory also contains millions of cells. The calculated values are stored in these memory cells. To make the retrieval and usage of these values easy, these memory cells, they giving the memory location, they are giving the memory names. Since the values stored in each location change their name, they are known as the variable name. So given change the name given to these locations are known as the variable name. Consider the following example. Here 3 is stored in a memory location and a name X is given to it. That is 3 is stored in memory location and that name, that memory name is known as the C. Then we are assigning a new value, that is 5, to the same memory location. Before the name of the variable is X and the value stored is 3. Now the name is same, that is X, but the value is, new value is 5 to the same memory location, that is X. This would override the earlier value, that is a 3, since a memory location can hold only one value at a time. This paragraph explain you that there is only one value that is stored in the memory location. This is the example. First of all 3 will be stored, then 3 will be replaced by the 5. Since the location whose name is X can hold different values, different times X is known as the variable. That each time whenever we store new value to the character, to the location, that new value will be stored and the new concept will be stored and the variable name or the location name is known as the variable. as a name advice variable. Why this is known as variable? Because its value vary from program to program, from user to user. That is, any user can change the variable value at any point of time at any level. That is, as against these 3 or 5 do not change, and they are constant. That is, if 3 or 5 does not change, then they are known as the constant. So one is your variable, one is your constant. Variable, that value can be changed with the program, but constant value cannot be changed within the program. Now, what are the types of C constant? That is, what are the types of C constant that is available in the C programming language? There are two types of constant that is available. That is a major category, but there are detailed category also. The major category is primary constant and the secondary constant. So there are two types of constant. One is primary, one is secondary. These constants are further divided into multiple parts. These are the constant. One is primary, one is secondary, and the primary constant includes integer, real, character, and the secondary constant includes array, pointer, structure, union, enum. So these are the various constants that is available for the C language. I am repeating again, C constant is divided into two parts. One is primary constant, one is secondary constant. Primary constants includes integer, real, character, and the secondary includes array, pointer, structure, union, enum. At this stage, we would restrict our discussion to only primary constant. That is, we would restrict our discussion to only the primary constant, namely the integer constant, real constant, and the characters constant. Then after some chapters, we will start with the arrays, pointer, that is the secondary constants. Now, what are the rules for constructing the integer constant? That is, what is the rule? Whenever we declare a static value, that is an integer value, what are the rules that is available for constructing the integer constants? The first rule is that an integer constant must have at least one digit. That is, any integer constant must have, it is mandatory condition that, that the constant or the integer constant have at least one digit that is available. Then it must not have a decimal point. Whenever we say integer, that means a discrete value that does not contain the decimal point, that does not contain the decimal place. It can be either positive or negative. That is, integer constant can be either positive or either negative. It may contain any value. Then if no sign precedes an integer constant, that is, if there is no sign that is available for the constant, it is assumed to be positive. That is, if sign is not available, then by default it is assumed to be positive. No commas, no blanks are allowed within an integer constant. That is, no commas is defined in the integer constant. No commas, no blanks, no special symbols. The allowable range for the integer constant is, this is the important one, that is a range that starts from -32768 to the 32767. This is the range that is available for the integer constants. Truly speaking, the range of an integer constant depends upon the compiler. For a 16-bit like Turbo C, the range is -32768 to 32767. For a 32-bit compiler, the range would be more higher. These are the examples of the integer constant. Now, next is, what are the rules for constructing the real constant? One is integer, one is real. We have discussed about the rules of the integer. Now, what are the rules for the constructing the real constants? Real constants are often known as the floating point constant. So one is integer, one is the floating point. In integer, there is a discrete value, that is, there is no decimal place. In real, that is in floating point, there may be the fraction part also, the exponential part also. There are two parts in the real constant. One is exponential, one is fractional form. Following rule must be observed while constructing real constant expressed in the fractional form. That is, following rules are observed or must be observed while constructing the real constant, or these are the rules for constructing the real constant. First point says a real constant must have at least one digit. That is, a real constant must have at least one digit that is available. That is, a real constant contain only one digit, or must have a one digit. It may be beyond one digit, but it must have at least one digit. It must have a decimal point also. It could be either positive or negative. Default sign is for positive. No commas, no blank spaces are used or allowed within a real constant. So these are the various rules for the real constant. These are the various examples. One example is plus 325.34, then 426, that is the integer value, that is not the fraction value but only dot decimal is used, that is 426.0. Then minus 32.76, minus 48.5792. This exponential form of representation of real constant is usually used if the value of the constant is either too small or too large. This is used whenever the value is either too small or too large. It, however, does not restrict us in any way from using exponential form of representation for other real constant. In exponential form, the real constant is represented into two parts. The first part is the exponential part, that is the Mantissa part. The another part, one part is your e, that is the Mantissa part. Another part is also e, that is part following e, that is the next part, that is the exponent part. So there are two parts, one is Mantissa, one is exponent. Following rule must be observed while constructing real constant expressed in the exponential form. So these are the various rules that is available for constructing the real constant while using the exponential part. This says default sign is positive, it may be negative positive, the Mantissa and the exponential should be separated by a letter e. So this is separated by letter e, that is 3.2 e minus 5. That is the Mantissa part, and the exponent part should be separated by the separator by the character, that is a e character. The exponent must have at least one digit, which must be a positive or negative integer. So the exponent, that is a e constant, must have at least one digit, that may be the positive, that may be the negative. The default sign is here positive. Then next point says range of real constant expressed in exponential form is either minus 3.4 e38 to 3.5 or 3.4 e38. Now, what are the rules for constructing the character constant? Before this, we have studied the rules for constructing the integer constant, real constant. Now, what are the rules for constructing the character constant? That is how characters constants are represented, or what are the rules that will be followed for representing the characters in the C language. This says a character constant is a single alphabet, single digit, or a single special symbol that is enclosed within a single inverted commas. So this is the most important point. It may be alphabet, it may be digit, it may be any symbol, but the condition is that it might or it must be enclosed within a single inverted commas. Both the inverted commas should point to the left. For example, A is the valid character. So this is the valid character. Why? Because this is this covers under the single inverted commas. The maximum length of a character constant can be one character. That is the maximum length, because the character, this is the character, then it must be of one character only. Like AI5 equals to. This is a symbol, this is a number, these are the alphabet that is used. Now, what are the types of C variable? That is, what are the different types of C variable that is used? This says, as we see earlier or as we saw earlier, an entity that may vary during program execution is known as variable. That is, any entity that is executing or that is that may vary. That may vary means that may fluctuate during a program, that is known as the variable. Variable names are the name given to the location in the memory. As I told you, whenever we store something in the memory that is given a new name, that is a variable name. That is the location or the name that is given to the location for the memory. These locations can contain integer, real, or the character constant. So these locations can contain the integer values, real values, or the character constant. In any language, the type of variable that it can support depend on the type of constant that it can handle. This is because a particular type of variable can hold only the same type of constant. For example, integer variable can hold only an integer constant. A real variable can hold only a real constant, and a character variable can hold only a character constant. These are the various types of C variable that is used in the C language. Then next point says the rules for constructing different types of constant are different. That is, there are different types of rules. That is, different types of rules are used for the different types of constant. However, for constructing variable names of all the types, the same set of rules can apply. These rules are given below. Now, for defining any variable, that it may contain the integer, that it may contain the real, it may contain the character constant, but the rules are the same for constructing the variable names. So now, what are the rules that is available for constructing the variable name? Then these are the various rules that is used for constructing the variable name. So now let's see what are the rules that are used for constructing the variable names. This says a variable name is a combination of 1 to 31 characters. So this is the combination of 1 to 31 characters, that is not more than 31 alphabets or digits or underscore. That is, it may include the alphabets, it may include the digit, or it may include the underscore also. Some compiler allow variable name whose length could be up to 247 characters. Still, it would be not safer to stick the rule of 31 characters. That this is a rule. Some programming language or some compiler uses the length as a 247 characters or more than 247 character, but that is not a good thing. Why? Because this is very tricky. Why? Because whenever we use a long length name or long variable name, so this is better or this is not a good option. So please stick on to the 31 characters only. Do not create unnecessary long variable name, as it adds to your typing work. That is, it adds to your typing effort. That is the next part. Next point says, next rule says the first character in the variable name must be an alphabet or underscore. That is, it does not start with the digit. It must be an alphabet or it must be an underscore. So it either start with the alphabet, either start with the underscore. Then next is no commas, no blanks are allowed within a variable name. That is, if I am choosing any variable name, there is no commas, there is no space between the between the names or between the variable names. Then no special symbol other than the underscore should be allowed. That is, no @ no $sign, no, nothing is allowed in the variable name. Only the underscore is allowed. That is, example, that is a gross underscore sal, that is a gross salary. In the same way, SI int MHRA pop E39. That is a using the pop, then the E, then 39. Then these rules remain same for all kinds of primary and the secondary variable. That is, whether you use the integer, character, any type of variable name. These rules are common, or these rules are same for any variable names, or these rules are same for the variable names. So what are the rules? First of all, it is up to 31 characters. The first character must be an alphabet or the underscore. It does not start with a digit. Then no commas, no blank spaces are allowed in the variable name. Then it is better, or no special symbol is used other than the underscore. And these rules are same for all the primary and the secondary variables. C compiler is able to distinguish between the variable names by making it compulsory for you to declare the type of any variable name that you wish to use in a program. That is, you can use any type of the declaration, either int, either float, either double. These can be discussed in detail, that what is the meaning of int, what is the meaning of float, what is the meaning of char. But this point comes over here, that there is a this type declaration, or C is able to differentiate between the variable name by declaring it in the various sections, that is either int, either float, either char. Since the maximum allowable length is 31 character, an enormous number of variable name can be constructed using the above mentioned rule. It is better practice, it is good practice to exploit this enormous choice in making or in renaming variable by using meaningful variable names. So sorry. Therefore, if we want to calculate simple interest, that is, if I want to calculate a simple interest, if we have knowledge of the simple interest, then formula is principal into rate into time divided by 100. So this contains, or that uses three variable names, that is principal, rate of interest, and the NOY, that is I think timing, related to the timing to represent the principal, rate of interest, and the number of years. Yeah, this is the timing, that is the number of years, rather than using the variable ABC. This says either it is advisable to use the meaningful variable name that represents something, like principal is represented by PRIN, so I am able to understand what is the principal amount. If I am using A, B, C, then it is not suitable, or it is not efficient to utilize the variable name, because another one can check my program, then that person is not able to understand what is the meaning of variable, or what does this variable contains. Then next is your C keywords, that is, what is the C keywords, or what are the keywords that is available in C. This says C keywords, or the keywords, are the words whose meaning has already been explained to the C compiler. That is, keywords are the predefined character that is predefined in the C language, predefined available, or whose meaning has already been defined, explained to the C compiler. That is the C keywords. The keyword cannot be used as a variable name. That is, if I am talking about the keyword, for example struct, that is a keyword, that cannot be used as a variable name. Variable name are different from the struct keyword. Some C compiler allows you to construct variable names that exactly resemble the keywords. However, it would be safe not to mix up the variable name and the keywords. The keywords are also known as the reserved words. So it is better to differentiate between the variable names and the keywords, and the keywords name, or the keywords, are also known as the reserved words. Why? Because these are the reserved words that is available, or that is used, that is the keywords. There are only 32 keywords available in the C. These are the basic questions, and these are the most important questions. One of the question is, how many types of keywords are available? That is 32. What is the length of the variable name? That is a 31. So these are the basic questions. A detailed explanation is available in the later chapters, wherever their use is relevant. These are the various keywords, that is a predefined keyword that is available to the C compiler. One is auto, one is break, case, char, const. Note that the compiler, the vendor, that is Microsoft Borland, provides their own keywords. These include the keywords like near, far, ASM, etc. So it depends on the keyword to keyword, depends on the programming language to programming language, or compiler to compiler. Some compiler also provides their own keywords like near, like far, like ASM, etc. Now, let's see about the C first program. But before this, let's take a break and then start, because this is a very important concept. All this what we have studied till now, that is will be applied to the first C program. So first of all, let's take 5 to 10 minutes break, come back, then starting with the first C program. So let's take a 5 to 10 minutes break. Now let's start with the first C program. That is the first C program that is introduced, or that gives a knowledge of how C program will be written, or how program will be written in the C language. That is the first C program. This is armed with the knowledge about the types of variables, constants and keywords. The next logical step is to combine them to form the instruction. That is, till now we have covered till now we have covered the variables, the constant, the keywords, and the next logical step is to combine them to form the instructions. That is, till now we have covered what is the instruction, what is a constant, what is a keyword. Now combine them to form the instruction, so that we can combine the instruction that forms the or that brings the program. However, instead of this, we would write our first C program now. Once we have done that, we would see in detail the instruction that is made use of. Before we begin with our first C program, do remember the following rules that are applicable to all the C program. This is applicable, that is available to the C programs also. What are the rules that is available? Each instruction in the C program is written as a separate statement. That is, each instruction is written as a separate statement. How they are separated with each other? By using the semicolon. That is, every instruction, if there are 9 instructions, these 9 instructions are separated by a, or these 9 instructions are separate with one another. Therefore, a complete C program would comprise of a series of statements. Then next point says, the statements in a program must appear in the same order in which we wish them to be executed. That is, they might appear, or they must appear in the same order in which we wish them to be executed. That is, unless of course the logic of the program or problem demands a deliberate jump or the transfer control which is out of a sequence. Then blank spaces may be inserted between words to improve the readability of the statement. That is, should be blank spaces so that it increases the readability, so that if another person reads the program, then it is better to read the program that provides the user friendliness, that provides the usability or readability. Next point says, all the statements are entered in the small case letters. That is, every statement, this is the most important point, most important rule, that is most important point, that all the statement that is written in the C language, that must be written with the help of the small letters, not using the capital letters. Then next point says, C has no specific rule for the position at which a statement to be written. That is, we can write any statement anywhere, but they are terminated by using the semicolon. That is the last point, that every C statement must end with the semicolon, that acts as a statement terminator. Let us now write down our first C program. This is the first C program. It would simply calculate the simple interest for a set of values. That is the same example, that is calculation of the simple interest for a set of values that represents the principal, number of years, and the rate of interest. So there are 3 variables that is used. One is principal, one is NOY, and one is ROI, that is the rate of interest. So now let's start with the calculation of simple program, that is the first C program. In C program, the program always starts with the main function. This is the main line. As we enter in at any home, there is a home gate, there is a main gate, that is there is a front gate. In the same way, for any C program, there is a main function that enters or that behaves like a enters, in which we can enter in the program, or in which we can write or wrote any number of instructions. That is the main program. Then uses the variable that is p and n, that is of type int. Then RSI, that is of type float. So p means a principal, n means a number of years, and both of type int. That is both of the variables are of the type integer that contains discrete values. Then there is a r, that is a rate, that is in decimal form. That's why it is of type float, because this contains the decimal value, because the rate is always in 0.9, 0.5. It may be discrete, but generally it is of decimal type or the float type. That's why it is using the float. Then SI, if the rate is decimal, so maybe the output, that is a simple interest, is also in the decimal point. That is why it is also is used as a floating number, that is a type float, or that is of type float. So there are two variables that is of integer type, there are two variables that is of float type. Then this is the initialization. This process is known as initialization. Till now this process is variable declaration. Now this is the initialization or assignment, that is assigning the value, initialize the value. That is, it assigns the 1000 to the p, or the p is initialized to the 1000. N3 R 8.5. You see, p and n of are of integer type. That's why it is used as a integer variable, that is 1003. But r is of decimal type, that is a float type. That's why it is declared as a float, that is 8.5. Now uses the formula for the simple interest. As I told you, there is a formula, that is p principal into number of years, that is n into r, that is a rate of interest. So uses the formula, and the simple interest variable name is SI. So SI equals to p into n into r divided by 100. That is whole divided by 100, not r is divided by 100. This whole, that is p and r, whole multiplication, that output after multiplication is divided by 100. Then print them. How to print the output? How to give the or display the output to the user? By using the printf condition. So this is the condition that is used for printing the output, for displaying the output. Which condition is used? That is a printf. Now, as I know, as we know, not I know, as we know, simple interest is a float type. Agree? So this is a specifier. This is a specifier that you specify what type of variable or what type of variable I was supposed to display. So SI is of float type. That's why it is using the percentage f. In the same way, if it is of integer type, then use the either I or either D. That is, either use I for India, either use the D, that is D for Darjeeling. So these are the specifier that is used based on the variable we are using, based on the type of variable we are using. If we are using the integer, then use either D or the I. If we are using the or the integer, if we are using the float, then use the f, that is the percentage f. So these are the various specifier that is used for printing the or displaying the output. This is the example, or this is the first C program. I am repeating again. The main program starts with the main function. This is the main function that starts or that is used as a starting function. Then this is the declaration part, that is a variable declaration. This is the initialization assignment, in which different numbers or different values are assigned to different variables. Then this is the formula that is used for calculating the simple interest, and then formula will be used, or then that variable name in which the output is stored, that is the SI variable, is printed by using the printf statement, that is using the percentage FSI. Then there is a curly braces that is closed. Yeah, this is also important. This curly brace will be opened after the main function, and that will be closed after the displaying the output, that is after the SI function. And these are the semicolon that is used for terminating the instruction, for terminating various or for differentiate between various functions. So this is one statement that will be terminated by the semicolon. Next statement also terminated by semicolon. Next various statements are terminated by the semicolon. Now these are the few steps or the few tips that is available about the, or that is very useful about the program. Comments about the program should be enclosed within this one. Yeah, this is the important point. This is used for the comment. This is a comment. Why we are using the comment? Because it increases the readability. Suppose I do not taught you, right? So if I am using the formula for simple interest, then how it will be used, or how it will be used, that is a SI. So this is the increases the readability. If another person, if any person that does not knows the that does not know the formula, that does not know that how to calculate what is a C program, so these commands are available for calculating or for displaying the formula for the simple interest, that is a formula. So this increases the readability. That how it will increase the readability, so the other non IT person or the layman term or the layman person is also catching that, yeah, this program is doing this, then the flows goes to next one, then the next flow go to next one. So these are the comments that is available for increases the readability, so that program will be understood efficiently and effectively. For example, the first two statement in our program are the comments. These are the first two statement. This is also a comment. Yeah, one of the important thing is that comment is not treated as an instruction, and the compiler that compiles the program does not compile the comments. It treated the comment as an exceptional part. Only the instructions are compiled, right? This says comment is over. Though comments are not necessary, it is a good practice to begin a program with a comment indicating the purpose of the program, its author, and the date on which program is written. This says comment is not necessary, that is not mandatory, but it is better to write to increase the readability. Any number of comments can be written at any place in the program. For example, a comment can be written before the statement, after the statement, or within the statement. This is the statement. This is the statement, right? The program can be written either within the before the statement, after the statement, or between the statement. Sometimes it is not so obvious as to what a particular statement in a program accomplish. At such time, it is worthwhile mentioning the purpose of the statement. That is, it is better to mention the purpose, like for example using formula for calculating the simple interest. Often programmers seem to ignore writing of comments. That is, some programmers seem to ignore, but while using the big software, it is very well that the code will be well commented or the well used comment, so that it is essential for other team member to understand it. This is the most important line. For example, if I am the developer in any organization, I am writing the code for the system. Suppose I resign my organization, new persons come. Then how new person cope up with the program? They or he or she cope up with the program only by taking care of the comments, only by seeing into the comments. So this is the better option, to write the comments in the program to increase the readability, to help the other team members to understand the concepts. Although a lot of comments are probably not necessary in this program, it is usually the case that the programmer tend to use too few comments rather than too many. The normal language rules do not apply to text written within this one. That is, the normal language cannot apply with this one. These are the rules that is used for this one. Comments cannot be nested. That is, we cannot write one comment within the comment, but the comment can be split over more than one line. That is, this is a comment that is split over to the 3 lines. That is, this is a line, this is a ZZ comment. So this is the line that is used, that is a ZZ or ZZ comment. Such a comment is often known as the multi-line command. So this is the multi-line command that is available in the three lines. That is, this is the first line, second line, third line. Then next point says main function. That is a main function that is used. It is a collective name given to a set of statements. Means whenever we combine the multiple whenever we combine multiple statements, that is a group, that is a group of statements that is known or that comes under the name that is a main. That is, it is a collective name given to a set of statements. The name has to be main. That is, this is the main function that is used. It cannot be anything else. All the statements that belongs to main are enclosed within a pair of braces. That is, within the main it will be enclosed within a pair. That is this one. This is the main function. Then curly braces open, that start curly braces. Then there are multiple statements like statement 1, statement 2. Then curly braces over. That is, curly braces closed. Technically speaking, main is a function. Yeah, main is also a function. Why? Because these are enclosed with the, or these are used with the parenthesis. We will discuss the functions in detail in the chapter number 5th. Next rule or the next part is that any variable that is used must be declared before using it. As I told you, any C program ends with a semicolon, that is termination. This is the statement. This is asterisk, and divide, this is used for multiplication, this is used for divisor, are the arithmetic operations that is available in C. That is the arithmetic operators that is available in C are plus, minus, divide, multiply. C is very rich in operators. There are about 45 operators that is available in the C. Surprisingly, there is no operator for the exponential, a slip, which can be forgiven considering the fact that C has been developed by an individual, not by committee. Once the value of SI is calculated, it needs to be displayed on the screen. Once the value of SI is calculated, it must be displayed on the screen by using the printf statement. So this is the statement that is used for printing the output, that is used by using the concept that is a printf. We have used this display on the screen the value contained in the SI. The general form is printf, that is a format string. What is a format string? That is either ampersand, %d, %f, %i, and the list of variable that is using the variable. Format string can contain f, that is for the real numbers, d for the integer number, character for the c. In addition, the %f, %d, %t. The format string may also contain other characters for displaying the output like f, d, simple interest, f, then f. This is the output. Now, what is /n? It is called the new line, and it takes a cursor to the new line. That is, if I press this one, if I use this one, so it moves the cursor to the next line. Therefore, you get the output split over two lines. That is one of the several escape sequence available. So this is known as the escape sequence or the escape character that is discussed in the 11th chapter. Now, next is your printf can not only print values, it can also print the result of an expression. That is, if I want to give the result of an expression, this is the expression that is more than one value. Note that 3 and C are also represent the valid expression. Like 3 is also represent, this is also represent, that is 5, that is C, that is the value of C, then A plus B, value of A plus B, then A plus B is multiplied by C minus D. That is also used for print the expressions. Now, next part is your compilation and execution. Execution, that is how compilation is done and how execution is done. So this is the next part, that is a compilation and execution. This is once you have wrote the written the program, that is once you have wrote the program, you need to type it and instruct the machine to execute it. This is very important because there is no use unless and until you will or your program will execute. That is, if it will execute, it will give the output. Otherwise, it is of no use. Then says Once you have written the program, you need to type it and instruct the machine to execute it. To type your C program, you need a program, another program, that is a editor. This is the one of the important line, that is, for writing any C program you want a editor. The basic editor that is used for the C, that is known as the Turbo C. So Turbo C is the editor in which we can write the C programs. Once a program has been typed, it must be, or it needs to be converted into the machine language, that is either zeros and the ones. So it must be converted into the machine language, that is either in form of zeros and the one. This is a machine language, so it must be converted before the machine can execute it. So before execution, its mandatory condition is that it must be converted, or it needs to be converted into the machine language, that is either in zeros and ones. To carry out this conversion, we need another program that is known as the compiler. This is the one program that is used for writing the C programs. One is a program that is used to convert the high level language or the C language into binary language, that is in terms of zeros and ones. The new program that converts, that is known as the compiler. Now compiler vendors provides an IDE, that is an integrated development environment, which consists of an editor as well as the compiler. That is one of the environment or one of the vendor that is available is the IDE, that contains the editor as well as the compiler. There are several IDE available in the market towards different operating system. For example, Turbo C. As I told you, there is a Turbo C that is available for writing as well as the compilation part. That is the same program is used for the writing the C program as well as for the compiling or for converting the program into the zeros and ones. Turbo C++, Microsoft C are some of the popular compilers that works under the MS-DOS. Visual C++, Borland C++ are the compiler that works under the Windows. So these are the multiple compiler that depends on the operating system to operating system, that is either using the Visual C++, Borland C++, Windows, operating system, Linux. If you are beginner, you can begin your typing using a simple compiler, as I told you, either Turbo C or Turbo C++. It's my advice to use the Turbo C because this is the C language you are studying, so it's better to use the Turbo C. Then once you have mastered the language, then you can switch to the next compiler like Visual C++ or any other compiler, but for beginning level use the Turbo C. And this book will what we call the compiler. Whenever there is a deviation, I will point out at that time. Assume that you are using the C language, that is a Turbo C compiler. Here are the steps how to compile the code by using the first C program. First of all, start the compiler, that is the C prompt, that is open the Turbo C. Select the new from the file menu. There is a file menu that is available. Then select the new option from the file menu. Then type the program. That is a new window will be opened. That is a new window from the file menu. Then type the code. That is enter the code for the program. Then save the program using the function key, that is a F2 under a proper name, that is a program1.c. Why we are using the .c? Because this is a C file, this is the C language code, so it must be saved with the extension extension that is a .c. If I'm using my name, that is Harry, then my program is saved by harry.c. It's a mandatory condition to use the extension that is .c. So first of all, open the Turbo C, go to the new option from the file menu, type the program, save the program by using F2 under a proper name, that is program1.c, that is using the extension .c. Then use the control F9 to compile and execute the program. There is one more key in between. One is only the Alt F9, that is only used for compilation. But if I press control F9, please listen carefully. One is Alt plus F9, that is used only for the compilation purpose. That is, compilation means converting the program into zeros and ones and bringing out the errors if any. Then next key is control plus F9, that is used for both compilation as well as the execution. So one key is also available, that is Alt F9, that is only used for the compilation, that is converting the main program into zeros and ones. Then next last point says Alt plus F5, that is use Alt plus F5 for displaying the output. That is for if your requirement is that you can also see the output at the same time, then use the Alt plus F5 to view the output. So these are the keys, or these are the concept that whenever we use the compiler, that is a turbo C compiler. So these are the various steps, how the program will be written, how the program will be saved, how to use the various keys to compile, to execute, to view the output. Note that on compiling the program, its machine language equivalent to the exe file. That is, whenever the program is converted into zeros and ones, that is equal to the equivalent to the .exe file that is available on the disk. This file is known as the executable file. If we copy this file to another machine, we can execute it there without being required to recompile it. Now, a word of caution. That is, if you run this program in Turbo C++, you may get an error. The function printf should have a prototype. To get rid of this error, follow the following steps and recompile the program. That is, this says if you once you have wrote the code in the Turbo C, then in the next step, if you are running the same code in the Turbo C++, that gives an error. Why? Because there is a difference between these two editors. One is Turbo C, one is Turbo C++. So both are not compatible with the same code. So one program gives an error, another program cannot give an error. Now receiving the output. How we can receive the output? By using the printf, by using the scanf. In the program discussed, we assumed in the program discussed above, we assume that the values of P, N and R to be 1003 and the 8.5. Every time we run the program, we would get the same value for the simple interest. If we want to calculate simple interest for other set of values, that is, if I want to change the values, that is 1003, 8.5 will be changed to another one. Then every time we run the program, we would get the same value for the simple interest. But if I want the another set of value, then we are required to make the relevant change in the program and again compile and execute it. That is, we again compile and we again execute the code. Therefore, the program is not general enough to calculate simple interest for any set of values without being required to make a change in the program. That is, program is not enough or is not general enough to calculate simple interest without being required to make a change in the program. Moreover, if you distribute the exe file of this program to somebody, he would not even be able to make changes in the program. Therefore, it's a good practice to create a program that is general enough to work for any set of values. That is, write the program that is applicable to any set of values, that if I change the value at any point of time, then it gives the output as per the new values, not to the previous value. That is, the value or the output is not constant, they are variable, or they are vary from the different values to different values. To make the program general, the program itself should ask the user to supply the values of P, N and R through the keyboard during the execution. This can be achieved using a function known as the scanf. That is, ask the compiler or get the output from the or get the input from the user through the keyboard. That can be achieved by using the scanf function. This is a scanf that is used whenever we get the input from the user. This function is a counterpart of the printf. That is, scanf is used for getting the input from the user. In the same way, the printf is used for displaying the output. That is a printf function. Next point says printf outputs the value to the screen, whereas scanf receives them from the keyboard. As I told you, this is the example. This so one program that we will study, we have studied already, that is initializing the value, that is p equals to 1000, r equals to 0.8. That is a predefined, or that is a predefined method. This is a user defined method. In this we get the input from the user, that is we ask the input from the user by using the scanf. This is the main, then int pn, float rsi. These are the two that is used for the initialization. One is printf, that is this line is printed exactly, that is printing the values, that is enter the values of p and then r. That is enter the values, the same line will be displayed, that is enter the values of p, enter the values of n, enter the values of r. Then scan the value, that is getting the input, that is scanf, %d, %d, %f. Why they are using 2 %d, 1 %f? Because p and n are of integer type, that's why it is using d. But r, that is a rate of interest, is of float type, real type, that's why it is using %f. One of the important thing, whenever we get the input from the user, then use the ampersand. This is the ampersand that is used whenever we use the scanf. So this is the mandatory condition, use the ampersand. This operator is known as ampersand. A-M-P-E-R-S-A-N-D. I'm repeating again. A-M-P-E-R-S-A-N-D. That is your ampersand. Then uses the formula, that is p into n into r 100. Then printf uses the same f, because the si is in the float type, in the decimal type, that's why we use the %f. So in this diagram, this example shows that how we can get the input from the user. But the previous example shows how we initialize the variable at the time of declaring the variable. So these are the two different concepts. One is the predefined, one is the user defined. The first printf output the message, as I told you. Note that the ampersand, this is the spelling, before the variable in the scanf is must. It is an address of operator. It gives the location number used by the variable. It gives the location number where the input will be stored. When we say ampersand a, we are telling the scanf at which memory location it will store the value supplied by the user from the keyboard. That is, it gives the location number, that is done by using the ampersand. Note that a blank tab or new line must separate the value supplied to the scanf. Note that a blank is creating using a space bar, tab using the tab key, new line using the enter key. That is, the three values can be separated by using the space. This is a space, this is a space, that is a blank. Now these are separated by the tabs, these are separated by the new lines. So much for the tips. How about another program gives line? First of all, uses the main function, curly brace, uses the variable, that is int num, then use printf, that is displaying enter a number, then scan the number, that is ampersand m, that is getting the value or give the location number to the input that is provided by the scanf, or that is provided by the user, that is the ampersand now. Then now I am letting you on a secret. You have just entered the number, that is ampersand d. Why it is using ampersand d? Because the num is of type integer. This is of integer type. This is how instructions or how C program can be written. So one is printf, that is used for displaying the output. One is scanf, that is used for getting the input from the user and give the location number in which these variable is stored, or these variable can be stored in the memory location, that is gives the location number. Now next is your C instructions that I will discuss in the next class. So that's all for today's session. Today I think too much topics are covered, because this is very interesting topic from my point of view, from your point of view also. So let's stop over here only. In the tomorrow's class we will start with the next topic, that is the C instruction, right, from page number 23. So let's stop over here. Now if you have any questions, then please ask the questions and I will answer you. In the tomorrow's class I will be starting with the C instruction. So that's all for today's session. Thank you so much everyone.